What's up, guys? Beautiful spring afternoon here on the farm, 53 degrees. I'm just kidding, it's December 28th. It's crazy how the weather just changes like that. Last week we had lows, actually it was 0 degrees one morning when I was going to work, and here we are 53 degrees this afternoon. Feels like that of a spring day. The rains have stopped. We've had some hard rains here over the last day or two. So we're out here this afternoon getting some things done, doing a little bit of cleanup. The pigs here behind us are a muddy mess. And it's funny, as I walk over here and show you, they're actually eating a frozen block of brewer's grain. The stuff I have, I do leave it sit out. We don't have any sort of heated infrastructure to store this stuff in. So in our barrels here, it froze. Didn't actually get warm enough that it thawed out completely, being that there's that much liquid left over involved in brewing grain. So they got a big chunk there. I just kind of heaved it over the fence and the pigs will nibble away at it. I'll also get some actual fresh feed in here. Let's see, make sure I didn't get any water in here with the rain that we got. We got some on the tarp here, but it looks like it should have held off enough. Yeah, we're all right there. A little bit wet, but that's just the nature. Brewer's grain does continue to ferment a little bit, so it will continue to produce moisture as kind of, well, I guess you'd even say it might even be beer, or something there like it. I wouldn't want to drink it, but it does produce moisture. So you're always going to have a little bit of a wet product when you're feeding this. Really no big deal. But again, it does freeze. So keep that in mind if you ever go down this road. You can see it is kind of a little goopy here today, but that's all right. Pigs are not picky, guys. All right, that's the end of that. So we were working on a fence yesterday, basically just to separate the trees from the Christmas trees. We recently did move the sheep over from our summer pasture to the winter pasture, which is over here. You probably can hear those guys carrying on. They're only right up here, and they know that I'm coming with some hay for them. So anyway, they're in with the Christmas trees. You guys have seen this pasture before. We've always kind of wondered, what would sheep do to Christmas trees? Well, we got our answer, and it's not a good one. They definitely like the taste of Turkish fur. Oddly enough, that's the only one they really seem to go for, but regardless, we had to get something in place to make sure that they kind of get separated, so they're not doing any more crop damage to the trees. So we went ahead, we ran some electric netting. I'll show you guys when we drive up around the top, kind of what that looks like. Very simple. We also had some hiccups with our recent shelter that we put in place. And I also think we're going to be on lamb watch here very shortly. Coco is definitely widening out. We'll show you her if we can get close to her. Those of you that are not familiar with breeding sheep, as they progress in their pregnancy, they will start to really show toward the end. And we're kind of nearing that phase right now. So exciting. If the weather can stay like this, it's actually going to stay somewhat warm over the next week or so. And then it is going to get cold into January, as you would expect. So if it happens now, great. If not, we'll have to deal with it through the cold, which we've done before. It's not ideal to have a January lamb, but it's also not a first for us. I actually grabbed a bunch of extra hay out of the barn today, being that it's been so wet, and we are expecting a bunch more rain tonight. We're gonna throw some in the pig shelter here. So we'll do that now. We'll drive around to the top, and then we'll talk sheep. This will just help keep things dry a little bit. I think we are expecting about a ½ inch to an inch of rain. Pigs won't mind it as long as they have some dryness. They'll kind of move this where they want it, probably eat some of it. And it's funny how they pile in this little shelter. So we got enough in here, good bedding for them. They'll be good to go. So this has actually probably been one of the better pig shelters, nice and low to the ground. Wide so they can all get in there, and they bust everything anyway. So you can see we need some repairs on it, like this board back here. I wish I had a nail on me. I would just do that right now, but I do not. So this does the job well. It's just enough to keep them dry. Pigs, they're not going to mind the cold. Like I said, they kind of climb all over each other. They huddle together and sleep real tight, but they are susceptible to getting sick, pneumonia and wet conditions. So it's good to have something like this. We've actually been feeding hay now for a few weeks, just because the summer pasture was starting to dwindle down, starting to get to that point where the grazing, there wasn't much left. So Over here, there's definitely plenty of grass. However, we're still throwing hay to them. I'm actually finding that it's a good way to control your animals. They're coming up to me already because they see I have some on the back here. And when it comes to moving them, if you get them trained in a certain way, it definitely makes it easier for you. So we'll throw this stuff down to them. I'll show you the damage they did. And again, there's plenty of grass in here. It's not the greatest because, well, we had a dry fall, but it's at least something for them. So she did come right to us. Coco here is definitely expecting a lamb. I mean, she is definitely widening out, as you see here. Sheep do tend to widen out a little bit in the winter because they do develop a bit of a thicker coat, but she's wide. You can see they start to get almost that football type look. So there's also some other signs you can check. You can see when milk starts to come in, which haven't gotten a great look, but it definitely is a little bit. So very confident that she's gonna lamb here. As far as a timeline, that I don't know exactly, but anytime you have signs like this, you gotta pay close attention to them. So and actually, you get a shot at her back there, you definitely could see it coming in a little more. So Brownie, I also suspect she's always been a little wider here, so I'm not as confident with her, but I would also suspect, so we'll see if she starts to show some more signs as well. As far as the other guys, we got some rams here that we're going to look to process off in January. Those 3 St. Croix that we picked up this last spring, they will be at about 10 months or so of age, actually probably a little younger, 9 months. So we'll look probably to take the 2 smaller animals there. We'll keep the larger one for breeding, for good genetics. And then we'll also keep Spot, who's our big Katahdin ram. Very nice animal here, so he'll definitely be sticking around as a breeder as well. But anyway, what we were working on yesterday, just getting this netting going down the hill, pretty much runs from our top perimeter all the way down to the main corral where they can kind of come in and out, where we have their shelter. Now, I understand this netting isn't real high. Sheep, if they really wanted to, they definitely could go over. But now that the snow's gone, they're fine over here. You know, again, we're throwing hay over here to them. I don't suspect that being an issue. We do actually have a larger section of netting down there, which is a little higher, so they won't go over that. But if anything, you know, they could, if they really needed to, they could get over it. But that would be almost if they were starving, which they're certainly not. But as you guys can see, you know, they definitely did damage on these trees here. You can see there's chew marks on all the branches. They're definitely misshapen. And I do think a lot of it, there was actually snow covered. This hill was snow covered for the last week or so. So yes, we were throwing hay in, but at the same time, sheep are roaming around. They're definitely curious animals, and they'll forage some other things. So they didn't seem to bother with them in the spring. Here we are, late fall, early winter, and you know, they start damaging some Christmas trees. So easy enough fix. We got a fence going all the way down. Shouldn't be a concern at this point. Then when you come over here to these concolor fir, there's no damage to them, so go figure. They just I guess they just like Turkish fur. We actually did not put any power to that netting. Didn't want to pull too much from the perimeter fencing, being that the coyotes are very active this time of year. We hear them out all the time. Although fortunately, I have not seen any on my camera yet, so that's always a good sign. But didn't want to draw too much. This netting does take up a lot. So if it becomes an issue, obviously we can still electrify it as another line of defense. And the last thing I wanted to show you guys today, our shelter looks dramatically different from the last time you guys have seen this thing. We actually got a good wind gust, picked up like a parachute like I thought it could, and this thing got all busted up. So fortunately, with the help of some family, came over and salvaged that. We actually got the lower legs taken off. You know, ironically enough, this is the way we were gonna set it up when we originally did it, but then we're like, it's built to hold ATVs and so forth. We might as well just build it the way it's supposed to be built. and sure enough, that thing blew over and got all busted up on us. So anyway, we cut it shorter. The sheep actually really like this. We did throw some hay in there as bedding. They crawled down there. Again, it's probably not necessary with sheep, but it is a good thing just to have it, you know, especially you start having lambs here in January, something that the ewes and a newborn lamb can get into and hunker down and stay out of the weather. The wind, the rain, the snow, that's what you really worry about. The cold weather isn't too much of a concern. And I almost forgot, guys, I have a bonus here for you today. So we showed you this a while back, this old concrete slab that was uncovered by our pigs here. Well, right here, we're starting to dig some holes. And what's gonna go here is concrete piers. We're gonna actually put a little building up here. What it's gonna be yet, I have not determined, but we're at least gonna get the structure up, pretty much just like a little pole building shed type thing. Could be used for many purposes, whether it's storage, whether it's breeding. We talked about putting some stalls in there for when the pigs farrow, or who knows, potentially milk sheep in the future. We don't really know, but figure get the building up. You can do a lot on the inside once it's up. It is going to be pretty much open air. Might put some siding on it, but we'll get a nice big roof put on here. So this is your time. If you have any last minute ideas for us, definitely shoot them our way. But again, first we want to hopefully get this going soon, get the structure up, and then we can kind of customize the inside to how we fit. I did talk about clearing this area out a little bit, that I can get my trailer in here, at least get that under cover, and again, give us room for the animals to have some shelter, or, you know, do various things with. So more to come on that one. I'll give you updates along the way as we get it going, but definitely exciting to get something else put in place here. You can never have too many buildings. I'm learning that already, because when you don't have any, man, it makes things hard. We're lucky enough that old red barn is still standing, that we have somewhere to store hay, because otherwise this would be a real challenge here in the winter. So that's gonna be it for today, guys. Most likely gonna be the last one for 2024, as we are, what, 2 days till New Year's. So a goal of mine for 2025 is definitely to get back in the swing of things here, be a little more active on here. You know, over the last couple of months, we've definitely lost a little bit of steam. Life just happens, and you know, we've been busy, so trying to grab a camera and get out here and getting things done, it wasn't happening. And you know, I take full responsibility for that, you know, not making any excuses. So we'll get back at it here in the new year. We got a lot planned already in the beginning of January. You know, you already saw some things here today, a new building going up. Not sure exactly when that's going to happen, but coming somewhat soon. 2 weeks from now, we're actually going to do our first pig butchering of the new year. I think I got 2 lined up that we're going to do. So that's obviously a weekend project for us here. Mentioned these rams. Definitely going to have, what, 1, 2, probably 3, maybe even 4, because we do have a couple rams here. So we'll probably harvest them here very early in the new year. Might not be as early as January, but you know, maybe late January, early February, somewhere in there. And then by that point, you're already talking weather starting to change ever so slightly. You know, you're thinking about getting a garden in place, and you know, the million other spring projects that you have coming up for the new year. So it's going to be a busy start. You know, I look forward to the holiday season, just kind of having that unwind period. You know, a lot of times the bad weather can be an excuse to just get out here, get some maintenance work done, get the animals fed and maintained. But as soon as that new year hits, it's like a shot out of a cannon, and you know, you're off to the races. So I look forward to it. You know, I look forward to getting out here a little bit more often with you guys, like I said, and we'll see. There might be some other big things in store for us this year. So you guys are gonna have to keep watching to find out what that may be. Hit that subscribe button to do so. As always, guys, give us a like, drop us questions, comments, anything you may have for us, and we'll be happy to get back to you. So enjoy the rest of the day. There's not going to be many more 50-degree days for a couple months here in Pennsylvania, so we're going to soak it up. It might not be sunny, but we're going to soak up the warm. I'm sure we're going to get some snow in the future. So take care, guys. Thanks for watching as always, and we'll be with you soon.